Let us pay homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Let us take the three refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Okay, we shall now chant the verses to observe the 5 precepts. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sura meraya majja pamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Dear brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, thank you all for tuning in today. This morning, we are very blessed to have Venerable Jian Xin to give us another inspiring talk. Allow me to introduce her to all of you with a short bio. Venerable Jian Xin pursued her postgraduate studies at the Yuan Guang Buddhist Institute in Taiwan. She has a master's degree in Buddhist Studies from the University of London. Since her first encounter with Buddhist teachings at the age of 15, her life has been greatly transformed. Venerable Jian Xin was also formerly a counselor and a therapist, and now shares Buddhist teachings to awaken others. Venerable Jian Xin is also a very special friend of Buddhist Fellowship and has enlightened us with many talks at BF, so we are very blessed today. And we are very grateful that she has decided to incorporate meditation in her talk today, which is titled, Are You Mindful or Mindful? So Venerable Shifu, may I invite you now to give us the talk?
Good morning, Dhamma brothers and sisters. Welcome to BF Morning Talk. Let's start today's session with a meditation session. Please sit comfortably. You may want to remove your glasses if that's more comfortable for you. Gently close your eyes. Today we'll do a counting of breath meditation. So put your attention on your in-breath and your out-breath. And with each out-breath, count in your heart from number 1 to number 10. So it's 1 to 10, 1 to 10 with each out-breath. Breathe naturally. And if there are any thoughts that come and distract you, try not to focus on the thoughts. Come back to your breathing and your counting. In case you miss your count, in case you overcount, is okay. Just come back to 1 again. So 1 to 10, 1 to 10. Enjoy your meditation. This will take about 10 to 15 minutes. At the end of the meditation session, I will ring my bell 3 times. That's when you can gently open your eyes and be ready for today's talk. I'll start the meditation now. Anytime that you are ready, gently open your eyes. Hope you enjoyed your meditation. Okay, so today's topic is, are you mindful or mindful? Let's start this session with a quick survey. Those of you who think that on an average day, your mind is very full, like this gentleman on the left, okay, can I have a raise of your hands? Those who think that you are like this gentleman on the left, your mind is very full, preoccupied with a lot of thoughts, a lot of things on your mind. Very good. Very honest. Very good. You may put down your hands. Those of you, okay, don't be shy, don't be humble, who think that, I'm like this gentleman on the right of the screen. Okay, I'm very meditative, very mindful. I do my daily meditations, even if I'm not seated on my meditation cushion. I try to be mindful of my breath. I try to be mindful of my body, etc. Okay, those who of you who think that you're like this gentleman on the right, can I have your hands? Very good. So I'll say that, you know, a lot of us, even like for Buddhists, right? A lot of us, we actually spend our average day, wow, busy, 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 with a lot of thoughts on our mind, with a lot of like projects to be done. And now with a lot of people, you know, like staying at home, doing their work from home, we call it, work from WFH, sorry, WFH, a new abbreviation that I heard recently. Yeah, work from home. And then it's like, wow, there are like so many things, you know, to be done on an average day. Sometimes my students share with me, they don't even have like segregation of time, let's say, for their meals. Sometimes they eat in front of their computer, you know, thinking of their work, even late at night, like 9, 10 p.m. Sometimes I try to reach my students. They were like sharing with me that, oh, I'm still working. Yeah, so that's the average day of many Singaporeans, I'll say. Very good. And okay, maybe let's do away with the slide for now. Let's come back to the audience view. Okay, so that I can see more faces and I don't feel I'm like talking to my laptop. Very good. Okay. Great. I see more faces now. Very good. Now, today's talk, right? Instead of just doing like a normal talk, I'm thinking of making today's session more experiential for all of you. Even before I ordained as a Buddhist nun, I was actually a counselor and therapist, and I was actually doing quite a lot of exercises with my so-called clients back in those days. Yeah, and then a lot of exercises are what we call mindfulness exercises, which my students and my clients in those days really enjoyed. And then after I ordained, definitely I've incorporated a lot of Buddhist element into our even like mindfulness exercises. And definitely I've been sharing a lot about meditation. So today was actually also a request from one of the BF committee members saying that there are members who have benefited from some of my previous talks when I share about meditation. I heard that there was this BF member who said that, wow, nowadays she can really be more mindful of her breath. And like a lot of times, you know, in one day, she found herself being more mindful. And I think that's really good. Okay, so the traditional form of what we call like Buddhist kind of mindfulness, I'm sure you all have heard a lot of sharing regarding that. So usually we talk about the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Okay, again, let me check in. Is it familiar to you? If it is, again, can I have a show of your hands? Very good. Yeah. Then, so today I won't really talk too much about the 4 foundations of mindfulness, but I'll be sharing from my experiences, teaching others as well as myself, how I incorporate mindfulness into my spiritual life. And a lot of times people learn mindfulness for many reasons. And if you're aware, nowadays we have mindfulness-based psychology, right? So it's very much used for a lot of like interventions, especially if people have like health problems or even so-called mental health problems. So a lot of therapies, a lot of even psychologists, psychotherapists out there, they are incorporating mindfulness techniques to help their clients. So today I'll share some of those methods that I learned, and then and let's maybe have some experiences, experiential exercises, and better experience of mindfulness today from those exercises. Very good. Okay. Before I touch on that, let me just briefly share that you might be aware that there have been a lot of researchers that have pointed to the benefits of mindfulness exercises, mindfulness training, including both physiological and also psychological benefits. So if you are a Buddhist, definitely you'll be experiencing some of the benefits already if you're already practicing mindfulness. But definitely as Buddhists, it's good also if we can even experience what we call spiritual benefits. Yeah. Would that be one of your goals as well? Very good. Okay, so let's start off with what I call mindfulness of our physical body. So as you all had done the exercise just now, that was the counting of breath, which is actually a type of mindfulness of body. So a lot of psychologists out there, they are using this method to support their clients and as well. So for now, maybe we can have another experience whereby we drop the counting. So we are just going to just focus on our breath. Just follow the in-breath and out-breath and see how's the experience for you. So it may be a little bit challenging because you have already like one less focus. Just now we had counting as a point of focus. So now without counting, just focusing on your breath. And then again, try not to let yourself be distracted by any thoughts. Okay, shall we try that? Okay, very good. So this is again mindfulness of breathing. Okay, so this doesn't have counting at all. Let's do a short one first, 5 minutes, and see how it is for you. Okay, so again, close your eyes. Okay, sit comfortably. Okay, as you breathe naturally, put your attention on your breath, the inhalation and exhalation of your breath. Again, if there are any thoughts that come and distract you, try your best not to entertain the thoughts in any way. Just keep focusing on your breath, your in-breath and out-breath. You may also want to experience and put attention on the part of your body where you feel any sensation as you breathe in and out. Anytime that you're ready, gently open your eyes. So that was a short exercise, which is about mindfulness of our breathing. And maybe let me get a little bit of feedback from you. How was that experience for you, even though it was a short one, 5 minutes? Do you feel any difference before and after this 5 minutes?
I think before that, I had a lot of thoughts, but then after the meditation, I managed to calm my mind a little bit more, so there were less thoughts.
Very good. So, of course, we had the longer meditation just now, right? The 15 minutes. So that helped to calm down a lot of your thoughts,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So with this further like 5 minutes, you realize that there was like a noticeable difference in
Yes, the first 15 minutes helped.
And then plus this 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Very good. So actually, do you all know how many thoughts do we have in a day? Have you all read any research on such statistics? Or you want to guess? How many thoughts do we have in one day? Ha ha ha. Can you count? Any guess? Wild guess is okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe 800. just a guess, 800.
Maybe we can break it down. Help me do the calculation. If it's we have like 24 hours, right? If it's 800 in one day, right? How many thoughts in 1 hour?
2, 4, 8, 3, 12, 6, 7,
800 divided by 24?
about 30 odd.
Hour?
30 plus.
So do you think we only have 30 plus thoughts in 1 hour? For the average person?
Yeah, I think it will be more.
Right? Just now, let's say total we had like 20 minutes altogether, or even slightly more. I think the first session we had slightly more. So slightly more than 20 minutes. Maybe we already had 30, 30 over thoughts.
Yes.
So, according to statistics, there was one statistics, but it was maybe a little bit outdated. The one that I saw was 2005. Okay, it was the statistics they did, the research they did in 2005. And then the results were, are you ready? A range of 12,000 to 60,000.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot.
Would you like to calculate for me? I think it's how many thoughts? In 1 hour, if it's 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts in one day. 500 to 2,500, right?
Yep.
Yeah, wow, in 1 hour, 500 to 2,100. So let's say if it's 20 minutes, Kim, sorry, make you do some calculation for me. I just want to, if it's 20 minutes, how many thoughts? Divide by 3 again, right? Just now.
About 500 divided by 3, 120, about 190, about 200.
Yeah, about maybe 200.
Yeah, about less than 200.
Imagine
less.
Like the average person, right, would have at least 200 thoughts in that 20 minutes just now. Wow, that's scary, right? So no wonder our mind is so full, F-U-L-L. And the interesting thing is, for this statistics, this research, actually 80% of the thoughts, right, of the subjects they interviewed were actually negative thoughts. Wow, 80%, like 4/5, right? Only 20%, they didn't say whether it's positive, but maybe like neutral thoughts. So wow, 80% were negative, and actually 95% were so-called repetitive thoughts from the previous day, similar to the previous day. Repetitive thoughts, like same old record player you play day after day. So interesting, right? No wonder Buddha told us that, wow, we are either living in the past or we are living in the future. So future, there will be a lot of worries, right? So another interesting finding that they got, actually 85% of what the subjects were thinking were actually a lot of, 85% of what people worry, what the subjects worry actually never happened. 85% of the worries never happen. So worry for nothing. Especially when we think about the future, right? So many worries. And now with COVID-19, do you all have a lot of worries? how everything will turn out, how the economy, etc. will turn out? Okay. And then, so out of this 85%, right, of the worries never happen. So left with 15%, okay? So 15% of the worries that did happen, okay, actually 79% of the subjects discovered that they could handle better than they expected. So also don't need to worry, right? Okay, 75% realize that they can handle, or even if there are difficulties, right? The difficulties actually taught them an important lesson, for them to learn actually. So in a way, it's like blessing in disguise. They learn something through the process. So what does this finding tell us? Be happy, don't worry. And then really, we really should look into our thoughts. If the finding, is saying that, wow, 80% of the thoughts were actually negative thoughts. And then 95% repetitive thoughts. Have you wondered, would the Buddha have any thoughts at all? Have you read anything about the Buddha? Any guess?
I think in the suttas, yes, he did. If I'm not wrong, I think he did say that he had thoughts.
Yes.
He would have thought of how that he wanted to help this person or another person, or he wanted to go to this place or another place. I think he would have thoughts.
It will be like very neutral kind of thoughts, right?
Indeed, yes.
Thoughts,
And not negative.
Yes, definitely. And definitely not 12,000. 12,000 thoughts. Very interesting results. So when I saw this research findings, right, I was like, wow. At the same time, surprised but not surprised to know of the findings. Okay, very good. So back to our thoughts again. So definitely lesser thoughts when we do such like exercises. So give yourself permission, like in one day, right? Get like we call snippets of time, if you don't need to use your brain, okay, come back to your breath. Give yourself like even just a few minutes. It will do you a lot of good. Very good. So this is some helpful kind of exercise that you can let yourself do more often, even if it's not in a seated comfortable position, right? Like sometimes if you're standing, and then if you're on the MRT train, if you don't need to drop like a light from the train in like 5 minutes, let's say, you can give yourself that 5 minutes to just maybe close your eyes, but make sure you're standing properly. And then just put your attention on your breath for that 5 minutes. Okay, so it's a very helpful exercise. Okay, so for today, maybe we can do another interesting one. So in terms of our physical self, right, we have quite a few senses, right? So definitely this sense of hearing is also a very good point of focus. And actually in our Mahayana Sutras, one of them is called Shurangama Sutra. It talks about, one chapter talks about how 25 Bodhisattvas shared how they gained their realizations. So they shared their experiences with the Buddha and those who were in the audience. And then actually Bodhisattva Kuan Yin, right? I believe all of you are very familiar with her. She actually reported that her so-called method that helped her gain her realization was actually using her sense of hearing. Okay, and definitely for her, right, in Chinese words, right, it's called 访闻文字性. It's actually, if I try to translate, maybe it's like trying to hear inwardly. So it's not just hearing the sounds outside, but hearing inwardly to hear her so-called 自性 means like her Buddha nature, her self nature. It's from hearing outside and then slowly focusing to hearing her own so-called Buddha nature. So definitely in this session, I don't think I can guide you all to do that. Bodhisattva Kuan Yin practiced that for like long time before she gained her realization. But we can have something interesting here. Maybe we can try later also, right, to do just for a few minutes to, again, to close your eyes, because that will help us to focus. And then I don't know the environment you are in right now, okay, to just pay attention to whatever sounds that are around you. Okay, and for this exercise, right, try your best not to be distracted by the sound and follow. Like maybe there's TV going on, and then there are some conversations that catch your attention. So for this exercise, you're going to be very disciplined. You're going to hear the sounds, but not be led by the sounds at all. So in Buddhist term, it's like not to have any attachment or even like aversion. Maybe there are like some loud noise going on in your neighborhood. Yeah, some loud barking of a dog or something. So again, no aversion and no attachment. So just take note, okay, sound, it's just a sound. Okay, so just be open, have sound as your object of focus for the exercise later. Okay, any questions so far?
So far, okay. Thank you. So far, okay.
Yeah, so again, I'll ring the bell at the end of the maybe 5 minutes, okay? And then just have fun here. Just allow yourself, right, to just listen to whatever sounds are around you, but not to be led by the sound, not to let your mind be affected in any way. So no attachment, no aversion, just hear the sounds. Okay, very good. So gently close your eyes. And this is called mindfulness of hearing. Gently open your eyes. Okay. Again, let me have some feedback. Some of you may want to type on the chat and then Hui Kim can share. I would like to hear any if there's any feedback from you regarding this exercise. Mindfulness of hearing. How was this experience for you?
I think I will start. I guess for me, because I was listening to some music earlier, so I kept hearing the repeated strains of the song in my head. But then I realized that a lot of it is because I was enjoying the song. So there was a lot of craving in me to enjoy the song. So I think that's why it kept repeating in my mind.
Mm-hmm. So it's attachment, huh?
It's attachment. I feel it's a form of attachment.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel that with the it seems that it could hold my focus a bit better than breathing this time.
Ah, interesting. That's very interesting. So actually we have quite a few so-called areas to work on. So it's not just breathing, but breathing is so common because since we breathe all the time, right? And then it's a good form of focus. But actually hearing, right, is also a very good form of focus as well. And to know that Bodhisattva Kuan Yin, right, she's very connected to our world in a way. Actually, Manjushri Bodhisattva, have you heard of Manjushri Bodhisattva? He's the Bodhisattva
Yes.
of wisdom. Yeah, actually, he was asked by the Buddha to comment on the realizations of the Bodhisattvas who shared their realizations. And then Manjushri Bodhisattva, he actually shared that, like Kuan Yin Bodhisattva shared, right, about this sense of hearing and to attain her realization. And he said, wow, this is best suited for the people of this world. Right? Yeah, so it's interesting. Actually, if we come to think of it, compared to maybe our sense of sight, okay, let's do this comparison. Do your ears complain to you? Are you so tired after listening for 1 hour Shifu's talk? Your ears don't complain, right? Regarding like tiredness, but your eyes may complain. Oh,
Mm.
after staring at the laptop, right, for 1 hour, your eyes get dry. And then so many of us starting to get 老花眼 already, right? You need like bifocal glasses. If not, cannot really see what's on the chat. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. But the irony is we depend on our sense of sight so much, right? Do you realize? And we forgot that actually we can use our sense of hearing more. And actually, all the sutras start with thus have I. Thus
Good.
have I heard. Ananda they say, thus have I seen. So it's actually through like hearing the Buddha's Dhamma, right? And then sharing it, all these years. I say, yeah. So I really encourage you to use our sense of hearing more. Sometimes just close your eyes and like listen, like be it like Dhamma talks or just listen to whatever sounds that are around you. So I'm just curious, those of you who are in the audience today, any other feedback? Do you discover anything? Any insight? As Buddhists, right, we actually want wisdom and insight from our exercises, let's say from our training. Any other feedback? Nothing?
Actually, for me, before the others respond, maybe I had another observation, and it was after a while I started to look for sounds.
Ah,
My mind started to cling to, oh yeah, this is nice. Let's wait for the next sound. And what's the next sound? And oh, it's the crickets chirping. And then the plastic bag was rustling in the corner. So my mind started to look for sounds.
ah. Oh, so how do you so-called analyze, what's this experience trying to tell you? Let's say when the mind is like trying to look for sounds, is it another form of clinging again?
Yes, definitely. It's a form of attachment, a
We
form of craving.
nice sounds, right? We like to hear nice music, nice melodies. If it's noise, right? A lot of times we are averse to it, right? So see, you can be more aware of this clinging mind. So I was just saying, be mindful of the sound. I didn't say, look out for the sounds.
Yes, yes.
That's interesting. Okay, very good observation, Vicky. Yeah. Any other feedback before I continue? Nothing on the chats for now? Yeah.
Oh, so far nothing.
Nothing, huh? Okay, good. Actually, for me, right, wow, just now then I realized, wow, my air conditioner, I think needs some servicing. It was like quite loud. Luckily, y'all didn't hear anything. Yeah. So it's like, wow, when I'm like more focused, actually, sounds actually get amplified in a way. Right? Yeah. So it's
Yes.
suddenly it's like maybe my sense of hearing improved. Wow. But actually it's not. It's just my, it's not my sense of hearing improving. It was just I was like more aware, right? So things just get amplified. Yeah. So if you want to like enhance your sense of hearing, you can do this more in a sense. Yeah. So it's really to not let ourselves be, again, be attached to the sounds, and then or be averse to the noises. Let's say, I remember my mom was sharing with me. So there was this major renovation going on in her neighbor, like just beside their house, and then it was it's a like terrace house, and then wow, so she's very sensitive to like noise. So, but for that period, right, because she was really practicing, the method she uses is chanting of Amitofo. So she tried to imagine, okay, Kong Amitofo, whatever pounding that was going on, whatever knocking that was going on, Amitofo, Amitofo. And then she actually, in a way, like she wasn't that affected by the whole experience. She used to have quite bad migraine, yeah, so that's why she was very sensitive to sounds, noises. But like throughout that few months, she actually experienced a different kind of experience. Right? She wasn't like attached or averse to all the noises. So I think that was an improvement for her practice. Yeah, by the way, she would try to chant, get up in the morning very early, 5 a.m., to chant 10,000 counts of Amitofo. And then at night before she sleeps, another 10,000. And then during the day, as many as she can. And then I think that really has helped her to overcome all the whatever, things that we don't like in our life. So as you do your practice more, you'll find that you are more like patient, right? You're more tolerant of a lot of things. And especially, a lot of times we say our tongues are like swords, right? Like people may say unkind things to you, right? Then more and more you will not feel so much when people say like not so nice things about you or about people that you love, right? Yeah. So that really helps. So just spend some time hearing, like it can be music even, but just be careful not to be too attached to the melody, or even worse, like it may so-called give rise to some memories. Let's say, wow, this oldie. I was giving a talk to some young people from university, and then they wanted to learn more about BGRs, boy-girl relationships, and then I set a topic saying, would you still love me tomorrow? Buddhist perspective on love relationships. But I know these young people will not have heard this oldie before. I don't know for this group whether you have heard. I think it's some song from the 1960s. So I thought it's interesting to have this title, because it's like even like a secular song, right? You will wonder, like, will you still love me tomorrow even? So that goes to say, the impermanence of, let's say, love relationship. So we call the three characteristics, right, of existence. Everything is impermanent, right? The only permanence is impermanence. Yeah. So same for sounds. Sounds come and go, right? Or like remarks or comments or people's like scolding to you, just come and go, and try not to be too attached. Okay. Very good. So I'm reminded of, like a lot of masters in China. There was this master back in Ming Dynasty. So there was some record, right, of how he practiced while he was always on this like bridge, and underneath the bridge was a stream, river, river or stream. I think it was a stream. So there were like sounds, water, right, flowing. And then he was like doing his practices until he went into very deep concentration, like for hours. He could be on the bridge, just listening to the sound of the stream water. Yeah. So that's how he practiced. And then he eventually gained some form of realization just from that practice. And there was another master in the Tang dynasty. And then one day he was just working in the fields, because those days they had to work, some of the monks. And then he was like trying to clear the field. And then there was this like piece of broken stone. So he just picked up the stone and then just threw it away. And then the stone happened to hit a bamboo tree. And then there was a sound, cling or something. And then from that instant, he actually kai wu le. In Chinese, it's like, wow, he gained some form of realization just from there. Wow. So actually, it happened in that instant, but it's with a lot of hard practice. So don't go around throwing pieces of stone around, thinking that you can get realization from there. So it was a lot of hard practice before that, and then it happened in that instant for the master. Okay, very good. So try to practice this as often as you can, especially if you have a keen sense of hearing. Like more audio. So this is definitely a good practice to do and to experience that. So eventually it's really to let go. So at this point, maybe we can share slide 2. It's by Ajahn Chah, one of my favorite quotes, I would say. Slide 2, about letting go. Very good. Let me read. If you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace. If you let go completely, you will have complete peace. Ajahn Chah. Okay, so you must know Ajahn Chah. He's actually the teacher of Ajahn Brahm, right? Yeah, very good. So, so it really depends on how much we let go. Bit by bit we let go. So if we can get let go a little, that's when we experience a little peace in our mind. If we can let go more, then we can have more peace. One day, if we can let go completely, right, then we have complete peace. That's when we are fully enlightened. Are you working towards this goal? I'm just curious. But you tell me, Shifu is so difficult. Even to let go a little is so difficult. Right? Okay, very good. So let's do away with the slide for now. Let's move on to the next exercise. Very good. So we have another sense. It's the sense of taste. And we eat how many meals a day? At least 3, right? 3 meals a day. That day someone was sharing with me that, this friend said in Chinese, 我只吃午餐. Okay, this one translate no meaning because 午, right, in Chinese, it can either mean 5 or it can mean 午餐 means lunch. So this person is like saying either he is saying like, I only eat lunch or I only eat 5 meals. So I have to guess which one. Yeah, so not surprisingly, some people eat 5 meals a day. So actually he confessed that he actually has like at least 5 meals, including supper and snacks, let's say. Not that he's on some 8 precepts, only 1 meal a day. Yeah. So now it's probably near to your lunchtime. Maybe your stomach is growling. So now you have good excuse. Usually, of course, it's not so polite, right, to eat something while listening to a Dhamma talk, but today you have my full permission. So I'm going to give you a bit of time, use 1-2 minutes, go and search for a whole food, I'll say. Don't look for junk food, some unhealthy tidbits, okay? Okay, look for a healthy whole food preferably. So it can be a piece of fruit. Don't bring a big apple here. We may not have time for you to complete the whole exercise. Or like maybe what we call a nut, maybe a healthy nut like cashew nut or macadamia nut or something. Yeah. So I give you some time now, 1-2 minutes. Go and bring a whole food here. Okay. Maybe a piece of fruit or some whole nuts or something. Just one small piece will do. Hopefully you can find some healthy food in your house. If not, we have to settle for like potato chip or something. Very good. So you're back. I'm curious, what do you have on your hands? Vicky? Wow, that looks quite healthy.
It's a small piece of Japanese biscuit.
Wow, okay, good. Yeah. Usually Japanese food is it's like healthier than some other like tidbits, right? Snacks, right? Yeah. Sometimes it's expensive also. Very good. Anybody else with like nuts or what's that? Eileen? Can you tell me what's that? Maybe you can tell on the chat. Can you tell Vicky what does Eileen have on her hands?
Cranberry.
Wow.
She's got a cranberry.
That's nice, but it's maybe a little bit sour. Some cranberry sweet and sour. Okay, very good. So all of you have something on your hand, right? Very good. Wow, Mr. Ao is ready. What's that, Mr. Ao?
It's a sweet given by my daughter.
Wow, so sweet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, little gift from your daughter. Very sweet. Okay, good. So, okay, very good. So, this one I'll give you more time. You may need more than 5 minutes because those with wrapper, you can like later listen to my instructions first. Later, you will try to be very mindful during this whole process from like opening it up, right? And then before you put into your mouth, right? Use all your senses, okay? You can observe it, look at it more closely, okay? Observe the color, observe the texture. You can use your sense of touch, sense of sight, sense of smell. You can smell it first before you eat it, right? Yeah, and then use all your senses before you finally put it in your mouth. And then don't just give it a few bites and then swallow it, okay? Have like maybe at least 50 chews, right? Chew on it at least 50 times. Yeah, or even like more if you need to. Like slowly, bite it, chew it, and savor the taste. Okay, before you finally swallow it. Okay, and then it can be little bites. Okay, at one time so that you can really have a full experience of it. Okay, so this is called mindful eating. Since we eat quite a few meals a day, so today let's have an interesting exercise with mindful eating. And then silence, so you really enjoy this process. So not to talk with your family members at all, just enjoy this mindful eating experience. I'll give you 5 to 10 minutes if there's a need. Enjoy. Yeah. Feel your, like use your senses and look at it first before swallowing, before putting your mouth even. Try to feel it first. Smell it first. Touch it. How does it feel on your hands? Remember to mute your audio, so even if you are chewing, I can't hear you. You may even want to switch off your cameras if there's a need, so that you are more comfortable. It's okay for this exercise, so that you really enjoy the full experience of it. If there's a need, you may want to even close your eyes and then just chew. Remember to chew at least 50 times for each bite. Do you need more time? Those who need more time, raise your hands. Almost done? Very good. So that's luxurious, right? To just spend so much time like on just this little bit of food. Usually, do you gobble your food? Yeah, and I know a lot of my students confess they are like eating in front of their laptops. And mindless eating, not mindful eating. Mindless eating. Very good. So any feedback to share regarding mindful eating? Any experiences to share?
I think for me it was a quite an eye opener.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
because I never noticed that it is just a small piece of a Japanese rice cracker. But today I realized that it looked a bit like a teddy bear.
Never realized, huh? Even though
I never did. And that and I had as I was smelling it and I was chewing it. For me, the impression was, I don't know why I had the impression of the fruity taste. It actually gave me an impression of an apple. So yeah, so
maybe
I never noticed that before. There was some elements of fruity sensation to the chewing.
wow. So you have eaten this biscuit before, right?
Oh yes, it's just a rice biscuit. But today I had a sensation that it smelled and tasted like an apple. I never noticed that before.
That's very interesting. Yeah. So interestingly, this is not the first time you eat this biscuit, but you have like new findings because you were really doing mindful eating.
Yes. Sister Eileen says her cranberry was reddish in color. It smells good. It tastes sour and sweet, and it was very crunchy, and it makes a lot of saliva and makes me feel hungry.
That's very interesting. So actually, like we didn't realize that we can salivate, is that the word? So much, right? And actually a lot of digestion is being done. So actually this is very good for digestion if you do mindful eating. Actually a lot of researchers show that with mindful eating, right, it helps with definitely with digestion, even with weight loss. So even though now you feel like eating, but when you really eat your meal mindfully, you realize that you don't need to eat so much. It will be lesser because you feel satiated, let's say. Okay, so very good for weight loss, and for those with eating disorders, let's say, like what they call like they eat because they are depressed, let's say. Yeah, then with mindful eating, they will not really have that kind of craving, let's say. Okay, so for your meals, give yourself this luxury. Okay, I have a Dhamma friend. Wow, she says she read from some Japanese research, from this Japanese teacher, and then since then, all these years, she will make sure she chews her food 50 times before she swallow each bite. And it has really helped her with her digestion. She had quite bad digestive system, so now it's very much improved. Yeah, so if you all have the luxury, you can do that 50 times, if not like maybe at least 30 times, right? And not just gobble your food and then finish your food in like 5-10 minutes. Right? Give yourself more time. Yeah, and practice. It's a practice at the same time, right? It's a practice of mindfulness at the same time. Okay, very good. So that's mindful eating. In mindfulness exercise, the famous one is the Raisin Exercise. So cranberry is very much like the exercise, whereby you realize so many things just from eating a raisin. So maybe it reminds you of some childhood. I remember when I was learning home economics, we had to learn how to make like rock buns using raisins. Right? So there may be that the memories in the past or something, and some childhood memories that may even come out while you have this kind of mindful eating. So again, it's not to be attached to anything. Just let whatever feelings come and go, or even not to be attached to food. Food is just food, right? Right? And a lot of times, a lot of people, because they enjoy good food, right? End up they actually eat a lot of like unnecessary kind of food in a way. right? So if you are eating for enjoyment and versus you are eating out of necessity, yeah, it's a different story, right? I remember someone talked about she being a foodie, Foodie, and then the spiritual teacher was saying, "You are a human being. Don't identify yourself with food. You're not a foodie. You're a human being." So it's crazy, right? Like some human beings call themselves foodies. They become foodie. Yeah, they identify themselves with food. Okay, very good. So me being a Mahayanist, and I've been in touch learning Buddhism since 5 years old. So I was 17 years old when I read just one chapter of a Buddhist book. It's called Starting from the Dining Table. So it was a Chinese book. So I was curious, what is it about Buddhism that starts from the dining table? So it's about compassion. So it's about vegetarianism. And immediately after reading the book, I became a vegetarian. So at that young age, right, and in those days, it was in the late 80s, I didn't know a single vegetarian. I didn't know, any vegetarian shop at all in those days. So it was a bit challenging, but it was something that I really thought it was one of the best decision I made for myself. Yeah, so it really helped me in cultivating my compassion from that young age until now. So I've been a vegetarian for okay, I won't tell you. You can guess my age from that. Okay, good. So so that's mindful eating. Oh, maybe we can let me know how many minutes more do I have? I still have quite a few exercises. Are you able to let me know like how many more minutes I can? So I have, so I can like
I think Venerable is okay. Please do go on. It's all right.
roughly how many minutes? Yes, I have quite a few. Can anybody let me know how many minutes? I think I've lost track of time. In such mindful practices, right? Time becomes like really, not a factor anymore. I can go on, and then it will be past your lunchtime.
Maybe Venerable, we go on for another half an hour.
Oh, that's great. Half an hour until, oh, very good. Okay. So luckily you had a little bit to eat already. Your stomach will not be growling. Very good. So let's move on. So okay, since we were talking about all the senses, today we probably won't practice the sense of sight since we're running a bit short of time, because like I said, you use your sense of sight too heavily already, right, to overwork. Even for today, you probably have read a lot of things, have been on your handphone quite a bit even, so I think I won't. But if you're interested, right, you can do on your own, like just look at something. It can be like a flickering candle, let's say. Yeah, you can light the candle, then just spend 5 to 10 minutes. Just use that candle light as your focus. Yeah, just observe the flickering light, right? Or it can be maybe something from nature, maybe like a flower, let's say, and then spend some time to look closely at the flower, observe the flower. So that can be like a form of focus. Sorry, let me backtrack. Regarding sounds, right? Since young, I love the sea. So I like to hear the sound of waves, the waves lapping on the shore. Yeah. Then I read somewhere that, like, again, Guanyin Pusa, right? One of her practices when she was practicing was Hai Chao Yin. She was also hearing the sound of waves. But of course, it's not just hearing that. She gained realization from that also. Okay. It's like, again, back to her Buddha nature, back to her self nature. Good. So, maybe, sorry, I just want to share about, the other sense will be sense of smell, right? And actually, human beings, I think we are not so dependent on our sense of smell, but actually it's quite important. I heard that there was someone who lost her sense of smell, and then she thought it was okay until some accident happened. I think there was some gas leak. She didn't realize in time, and then she suffered some problem from that, right? So, but I think the sense of smell of a dog is better than us, right? Right. So But it's good that we use our nose, let's say for breathing meditation. Yeah, but if it's sense of smell, maybe not that useful to practice as a form of practice. But in one of our sutras called the Malaccati Sutra, actually the Buddha talked about another land of the Buddha, Xiangji Fo, Xiangji Guo. So it's like it's about fragrance. So they actually practice using fragrance for that land. So for us, it will be like quite hard to imagine how to practice using fragrance. Okay, good. So definitely for some other beings from other lands, other Buddha lands, they probably can use that sense of smell better. Okay, so we'll just use our nose for breathing meditation. I think that's good enough. Yeah, so always put your attention on your breath as much as you can. Yeah, I'm just curious. So for the past 1 minute, were you all aware of your breathing at all? The past 1 minute? Or no, Shifu, I wasn't focusing at all. I was maybe focusing on you talking. Yeah, actually you can listen to this talk and be aware of your breath at the same time. Okay, very good. So, I think we can move on from mindfulness of the physical self. Okay, let's move on to, okay, the next one will be definitely the sense of feelings. So for the 4 foundations of mindfulness, we have mindfulness of body, and then we have mindfulness of feelings, right, or sensations. Okay, so for this exercise, maybe I will touch more on so-called feelings and emotions. As I was doing a lot of counseling as a lay person back then, right? So a lot of people come because of problems regarding their emotions. Yeah, so you probably have heard of some kind of problems like depression, let's say. Have you all heard, right? Yeah, so definitely is when someone is not just feeling some blues, like Garfield has Monday blues, right? Garfield? Do you all still remember Garfield? Yeah, but so it's definitely more than just blues. Feeling blues is really depression. So if it's severe, right, it may even lead to self-harm or even suicides. So recently, I think there's some report again, on the statistics about suicide in Singapore. Were you all aware? Recently, so last year, right, there were total 400 cases of suicide. 400 people took their lives. Very sad, right? Yeah, and actually out of 400, the most number, right, is from the age group from 20 to 29. I think it was 71 or something. Wow. So actually that's a big number for this age group. So it's also interesting, because for this age group, they're supposed to be young, right, and looking forward, right, to their lives ahead. But maybe because of stress, maybe because of depression, maybe because of problems in their interpersonal relationships, or even maybe love relationships, they chose to take their lives. Yeah, so that's actually quite a big problem that we should look at. So if you have young people around you who are feeling, quite down or even depressed, maybe you can talk to them, or maybe if there's a need, refer them to see a professional counselor or therapist, because counseling is actually very much so-called can be reversible, let's say, can be cured, so-called, just by counseling most of the time. Yeah, but for severe cases, they probably need some form of antidepressants. Okay, yeah. So then the counselor can refer them to see a psychiatrist if there's a need. Yeah, but if not, then maybe there will be very bad consequences if they sink into severe depression and then eventually become non-functional or even take their lives. Okay, good. So for, when I was learning counseling, there was this spectrum of feelings that we learn. And then there's a rhyme to it. We call it mad, sad, glad, scared. That's how I memorize them. So then it can be of different intensities. So for sad, right, just now we mentioned it can be severe form of depression, or it can be just feeling a little bit of blues, feeling down. Then let's say for scared, so if it's like very, very severe kind of feelings of scared, what does it become? Have you heard of the term starting with a P? It becomes a
phobia.
very good. It's like, wow, I'm so scared of cockroach, cockroach phobia or heights phobia, etc. Right? Yeah. So if not, then it's just a little discomfort, right? Or like uncomfortable feeling, right? Or like just a little bit of fear, let's say. Okay. So definitely for the rest, like mad, meaning like angry, from just a little bit annoyed, let's say, to the extreme of, because you can't control your anger. There's a problem with your anger management that you may turn to violence. Let's say you may hit someone, let's say. So all this need attention. Yeah. Then definitely glad is a positive emotion. So it can be feeling a little bit of uh, uh, happiness to feeling, wow, like so much bliss. Okay, good. So I realize a lot of times when I try to check in with people, right, how are you feeling right now? Then they may answer like, I'm feeling I want to say something. Is that a feeling? I feel I want to say something. So actually it becomes like thinking already. So a lot of times, a lot of us are very out of touch, I would say, with our feelings or like even like the emotions until they get out of hand. Would you agree? Yeah. So for this exercise, the instruction would be just give yourself a few minutes. I'm going to give you maybe just 5 minutes. Just try to feel whatever feelings in your heart. Okay. And sometimes the feelings you may even experience in your body. Sometimes, so you can probably also sense it in your body. If not, then just try to feel whatever that's in your heart, and then later share with me. Let's see what kind of feelings. So it can be maybe not so positive, or it can be even positive feelings, or peace. Maybe peace is a form of feeling, even, right? Yeah. So enjoy this few minutes, just trying to be in touch with how you're feeling here and now, right now. Okay, good. You may close your eyes so it's easier for you to be more in touch. Anytime that you're ready, gently open your eyes. Okay, so that's mindfulness of feelings. Any feedback? How was the mindfulness exercise for you? Were you in touch with your feeling or feelings?
For me, I had both negative and positive feelings in that short moment. So my negative feeling was that I was worried that my son has a lot of homework, so I felt myself getting worried that he couldn't finish his homework. So there was a bit of anxiety.
Typical mom's anxiety.
Yes, yes.
And
And
then,
then after that, I was sitting here calmly, enjoying the talk. So I felt joy also and peace.
very good. Yes. So, but do you realize at the same time you cannot have both feelings, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So you can like choose in a way, right, to have the positive feeling, yeah, instead of the negative one, right? In a way.
yes, yes,
It's still important to acknowledge and not suppress. So if any feelings come up, acknowledge it. And then if there's a need to like analyze it some more, you may wish to analyze that, okay, this worry, right? Is it like the percentage just now we said, actually what 85% found that the worries can be overcome, let's say, not difficult to handle, or even if it's a difficulty, real difficulty, that's lesson learned, right? Okay, any sharing from the chat?
yes. Sis Eileen says that she is feeling peaceful, but rather warm and a bit hungry, and then her neck is also painful.
So when we try to be in touch with our feelings, then wow, a lot of sensations may come up from there, right? And then, yeah, or feeling a bit warmer. Wow, these few days have been very hot, right? In the daytime in Singapore, right? 34 degrees, Yeah. Okay, good. So a lot of times you find that feelings come and go, right? And then just now we said, right, we can even like choose to have positive feelings because we cannot have both feelings at the same time, right? Yeah, it's like it can be a choice, let's say. And I remember in counseling, we learn about feelings, to acknowledge the client's feelings, and then we have to identify the feelings about feelings. A lot of times it's so complicated, right? It's not just one layer of feelings. Let's say someone is feeling angry, then someone, is feeling guilty of the anger, right? And then worse, feelings about feelings about feelings. It gets all entangled. So many like feelings at the same time, huh? Yeah. Okay. So in Buddhism, we learn that it's also impermanent, right? We say feelings are impermanent, and in a way, it doesn't have a self, right? It's like selfless also, huh? Yeah, because if it has a self, then it cannot be transformed so easily, right? So nowadays, I heard in therapy, in my days, they didn't have like, now they have what, compassion therapy, something like that. Yeah. And definitely for Buddhism, we've emphasized a lot on, let's say, the four immeasurables, right? Brahma Viharas is, wow, all these qualities that we can be in touch with, right? Loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, right? Yeah. And then, or even joy, right? Yeah. So just now Sister Eileen said she experienced some joy, right? Yeah. Or was it Vikim? Yeah. Okay, good. So for me, it's like every time when I'm more in touch with my feelings, I actually learn something also from my feelings, right? Yeah. So that's where we can also like give rise to wisdom, let's say insights. What is this feeling trying to tell me? Like in my counseling days, like we talk about tears. Sometimes you may also ask the client, so what's your tears trying to tell you? Wow, and then we have to study tears. Do you all know tears have so many feelings attached to it, right? It can be tears of joy, it can be tears of sadness, tears of grief, tears of release, whatever, right? So many so-called feelings associated. So we may ask, like, So what's your tears trying to tell you, or what are your tears about? Yeah, that's when they can gain some insights even from the feelings. Okay, good. So, so as practitioners, it's good that we try to connect with positive feelings. If not positive feelings, then at least it's non-attachment, non-aversion feelings, more neutral feelings, yeah, and not negative feelings. Very good. Okay. Remember, we are not our feelings. Okay. Oh, sorry, backtrack a little bit. I forgot to share. We are also not our body, right? In a sense, like I try not to be too attached to your body. So definitely, in times of, let's say, sickness, it will be easier for us to manage any form of physical illness. Let's say, by the way, mindfulness has also been researched, right, to be helpful with pain management. Right, with mindfulness, you can manage your pain better. A Chinese doctor told me, how come that illness is like difficult to so-called handle? It's when it becomes 痛苦. If it's just 痛, 痛 means pain, right? Then it's not so scary. When it's 痛苦, 痛苦 in Chinese also means like suffering, Wow, the 痛 becomes 苦 already. The suffering that comes from pain. So, but a lot of times we say, we can practice such that we can be more detached, let's say, with our body, and then we don't identify too much. And then even in times of illness, we will not be so suffering. Have you heard of like those masters, like great Buddhist masters, even though they were really sick, but their mind was like still peaceful despite the illnesses? Okay, so that's how we can practice. And I think the real challenge will come on our deathbed. A lot of physical discomfort, definitely, right? And then we talk about like the 4 elements will be disintegrating. Like we have the element of earth, water, fire, and wind. So it's connected with, associated with, let's say, our heat, our so-called our qi, our energy, our breathing, etc. Okay, so as we are younger now, we train so that on our deathbed, wow, we can be very mindful, and then we will not suffer, and then we will have a good death, so-called, right? And then we can have good rebirth from there. And then, yeah, okay, good. So, okay, wow. Today's time is like flying for me, maybe because we've been doing a lot of mindfulness, and I'm trying to be in a mindful state because I'm the teacher here, right? I was set a good example. So then time and space become so relative, right? So this last part will be mindfulness of our thoughts. Okay, so do you realize it becomes more and more subtle from our body, which is like more tangible? Then we went on to the feelings, which is more subtle, and now our thoughts, which is even more subtle. Okay, so just now we shared, right? Wow, in one day, in 1 hour, or even in 1 minute, we have so many thoughts, like a monkey mind, right? And then actually we can practice by watching our thoughts. Okay, so this exercise, right? In a while, you are going to again sit in meditation posture, and then for this, like 5 minutes as well, try to look at your thoughts. So if you realize your thoughts, right, a lot of times it's like a train of thoughts from first thought, and then very fast, this thought will give rise to another thought, and then it becomes a third thought, and then a train of thoughts, right? So, but for this exercise, try to catch the first thought before it becomes the second thought. And then once you catch it, you let go of it, and then so that it will not become a train of thoughts. So just see it arising, and then see it falling as much as you can. So the analogy in Chinese Buddhism, right, we call it, it's like a hungry cat watching a mouse hole. So that kind of observance, that kind of awareness. Okay, try to imagine, right, hungry cat watching a mouse hole. But now I think the cats, they are not so good at catching rats already. Yeah? Okay, so any questions regarding this exercise? It may be a bit challenging, but I think it's worthwhile to do this exercise. Okay, because a lot of times, even before you realize, wow, you are in this drama already, in your mind already, right? Yeah, so try to be aware of the first thought and then not let it arise a second thought, and then you watch it go, and then until the next thought arise, okay, again watch it and then let it fall again. Okay, so enjoy this meditation, watching your thoughts. Okay, gently open your eyes. Okay, so any feedback? I know this exercise is challenging. Luckily, we had a series of meditation and mindfulness exercises before this final one, this challenging one. So were you aware of your thoughts? Were you mindful of your thoughts, especially the first thought, let's say? How was it?
Yes, I think I was aware of some of the thoughts. But then after that, my mind started to anchor on the breath again. Because the mind was quiet, so it anchored on the breath again.
So it's like your habitual.
Indeed, yeah.
Good. So
Then I realized that my thoughts can be in the background while I'm breathing.
Okay, good. So, but let's say if there's a chance we keep next time,
Yeah.
let go of the breathing. Okay, I know it's something.
Oh, okay.
So because the breathing is a point of focus, but now we are trying to just focus on the thoughts because you said your thoughts became in the background. That means
Yes.
aware of them. This exercise is really be aware, of your thoughts.
Okay.
So you see it arising, falling, and sometimes you may have some insights from there. Like what are
Okay.
we call it a broken record, the record that keeps
Yes.
playing. Like what's this? Maybe it's like my son. If only I don't need to worry about his studies, whatever, right? Okay, so like just I mentioned quite a few so-called mental health problems, right? So definitely, have you heard? Definitely, this problem called OCD. Have you all heard? It's some kind of obsessive compulsive kind of disorder. So whereby some people would have like obsessive thoughts. Wow, they just cannot control the thoughts. They just keep pouring in, keep coming to them. Yeah. So definitely with a lot of mindfulness training, it can be treated. Okay. And then so as Buddhists, sorry, before I continue, I know I have to end soon. Any other feedback on the chat? Let's say, how was this exercise? Was it difficult?
Uh, since Eileen says not many thoughts, except the first thought was what to eat after the talk. Then on seeing that, she was able to drop the thought and it goes away and doesn't continue.
Yeah. So if it's an untrained mind, right? Okay, what to eat after that? Then they will want to act on the hunger pangs already. Okay, bye bye, Shifu. They will just leave the meeting, right? Yeah. So that's why we need to keep training our mind, with a lot of mindfulness exercises, training, meditation, so that we become so-called the master of our mind. Right? We can tell ourselves, be happy, and then we are happy. We are not a slave of our mind. Especially like there are people with, let's say, sleeping disorders. They cannot tell their mind sleep, and then they sleep. They toss and turn, right? So definitely mindfulness training will help them with sleeping patterns. Okay, and then so just to conclude, sorry, am I like from the start of the meditation to now, have I talked for 1.5 hours with the exercises? Has it been 1.5 hours? It doesn't feel 1.5 hours for me. Really? 1.5? So sorry, just give me a few more minutes. I just want to conclude saying that, okay, we know that with secular kind of mindfulness-based psychology, it's very much a training by itself. It can be definitely beneficial, but for our Buddhist kind of mindfulness that the Buddha taught us, let's say we know right mindfulness, sati, right, is one of the Noble Eightfold Path. And if we know the Noble Eightfold Path, it consists of cultivation of not just, it's really regarding our so-called morality, concentration, and wisdom, right? So right mindfulness is really to help us to have better concentration and to give rise to wisdom. Yeah, and with wisdom, one day we can be fully enlightened like the Buddha with perfect wisdom. Okay, so as Buddhists, that's what we can continue to learn. Okay, definitely you can learn more about the 4 foundations of mindfulness, which is mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of the mind, and lastly, mindfulness of the Dhammas. So you can learn more about that. So today's short session is just, I'll say, it's just some, what do you call it? Appetizer. Appetizer for you. Oh, Eileen is hungry again. Okay, so for you to experience mindfulness in a more interesting way so that you are more motivated to do more mindfulness practices. And one day, like what the Buddha promised us, right, with let's say even like 4 foundations of mindfulness, it can help us with detachment, and then to practice detachment even to the point of eradicating all our desires and suffering, and be liberated from this cycle of birth and death, okay, and be enlightened. So that's what the Buddha promised us if we really truly practice according to what he teaches and he taught. Okay, very good. Okay, so 1 hour and a half just passed like that, huh? So with this, I conclude today's sharing. I really hope you enjoyed today's session as much as I did, and looking forward to see you soon. Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Venerable Jian Xin, for the very inspirational talk. May we say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Venerable. That was really useful.
Thank you. See you. Amitofo.
Thank you once again to all Dhamma brothers and sisters for coming today. Do tune in next Saturday on the 22nd of August for another Saturday series talk by Sister Sylvia Bay. She will be explaining the Bhikkhu Sutta SN 47.10 on directed and undirected meditation. This will be at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Our next Sunday service speaker will be Dr. Ang Beng Chu. She's a highly sought after Dhamma speaker, and she gives us very warm and humorous talks, and she will share with us a talk titled, Have You Ever Encountered Ghosts? A very appropriate topic for the 7th lunar month. And finally, do feel free to help us with our maintenance costs by donating generously, and this will also help us to continue our Dhamma work. Thank you, and see you all again.
Dedication of merits. Let us invite all sentient beings to participate in our acquired merits. Ettavata ca amhehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Let us dedicate the merits of participating in this wholesome Dhamma activity to our departed relatives and friends. Idang me tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.